Hi, humans, and happy Monday. I hope you're doing all right. And even if you're not doing all right, I hope you know that's all right too. I was thinking about how many places I've lived. I've lived a lot of places. I've lived in Ohio, Alabama, Georgia, England, Virginia, Pennsylvania, Texas, California. I've lived a lot of places. And some of you might think, wow, that sounds so fun. But when I was a kid, all I wanted was to be from one place. I was sick and tired of moving around. When I went off to college, I went to a school in Chicago. And I met a friend who had lived in the same town her entire life. And I was so jealous. But all she ever wanted was to live anywhere else. And I started thinking, isn't it strange that what I had, she wanted, and what she had, I wanted. But even though we both had the other person's dream life, we both were unhappy. It made me think a little bit about COVID-19 and school. I remember when I was in school, all I wanted was to not be in school, for summer vacation to be here, for school to not be required so that I could just stay home. And this year, now that that's finally the case, I've heard students say, all I want is to be able to go back to school. So this year, when we were forced to stay home, we were living my dream as a child. And now that we're slowly returning to the classroom, we are living your dream as a child. And in both scenarios, neither of us were totally happy. This happiness idea, it's what led me to practice mindfulness and meditation. Because one of the ideas in mindfulness is that our happiness doesn't have to depend on where we are or what's happening around us. In fact, we can cultivate our own joy and happiness inside. We can tap into our own source of love and well-being, and we can spread that wherever we go. So I started thinking, what makes me happy? What brings me joy? And this year, during our COVID-19 lockdowns, I realized that playing music brings me joy. Practicing mindfulness brings me joy. Teaching students, being with students brings me joy. And so I made time to learn new things on the guitar, to write new songs that remind me just how beautiful life can be. Just how filled with life and love and joy we all can be, as long as we're willing to tap into it. And some of the hard news is that this increase in joy and happiness can't happen unless we're also willing to admit that in our hearts and in our minds, there's often unhappiness and sadness and anger and bitterness and regret and sorrow and all the things we either hide or don't admit to ourselves or run away from or try to minimize. There's nothing wrong with not wanting to be sad, with not wanting to be angry, with not wanting to be filled with bitterness and regret. But if we can admit that they're there, if we can give those feelings and those thoughts and those emotions space to breathe, we can see them for what they really are. Just a thought, just a feeling, just an emotion that's coming, and as quickly as it came, it can leave. And we can have even more space inside to tap into our joy. So this is a song about that. It's a song about becoming your own best friend. It's a song about tapping into that inner child that's not worried about what anyone else thinks, that's just interested in being curious, in being kind, and being loved. It's a song about being happy wherever you are, whether you're in one place for your whole life or you move all the time. If you are interested, you can sing along. It's a fairly simple song. There's only 2 verses, and there's a really fun bridge where you just get to howl like a wolf at the moon. Why did I put that in there? Well, because I feel like a wolf howling at the moon doesn't care what anybody else thinks. A wolf howling at the moon is just free to be itself, to be a happy wolf howling at the moon. And I want to be a happy me howling at life, saying thank you for another day to experience love and whatever else might come my way. So, the song, fairly simple. It says, I could be my own best friend. I could free my inner child. I could be there in the end and watch my dream go running wild. Yeah, I'd be free. Free to be me. Yeah, it's true. You could just be you. Let's try that verse. I could be my own best friend. Free my inner child. Could be there in the end and watch my dream go running wild. Yeah, I'd be free. Free to be me. Yeah, it's true. And you could just be you. And the second verse is a similar idea. It says this, I could lay my burdens down. I could let my worries go. I could stay here in this town, or I could head out on the road, but I'd be free. Free to be me. Yeah, it's true. And you could just be you. And then we'll howl at the moon. Ow, ow! Ow! You ready? We'll start at the beginning. Well, I could be my own best friend. I could free my inner child. I could be there in the end and watch my dream go running wild. Yeah, I'd be free. Free to be me. Yeah, it's true. You could just be you. Well, I could lay my burdens down, could let my worries go, could stay here in that town, or I could head out on the road, but I'd be free. Free to be me. Yeah, it's true. And you could just be you. I could be my own best friend, could free my inner child, could be there in the end and watch my dream go running wild. Yeah, I'd be free, free to be me. Yeah, it's true. And you could just be you. best friend, free my inner child. Be there in the end and watch my dream go running wild. Yeah, I'd be free. Free to be me. Yeah, it's true. You could just be you. You could just be you. I could just be me. A lot of time, I'm spending a lot of thought, a lot of emotion, worrying if I'm good enough, worrying if just me could be accepted and loved exactly the way that I am. The good news is, we can, I can, and you can. Mr. Rogers taught me that. And mindfulness practices taught me a way to practice paying attention to that fact. The fact that you can be loved and I can be loved exactly the way we are. Mindfulness isn't magic. It's not mumbo jumbo. It's just an exercise, like push-ups, sit-ups, like stretching, like running. And as we exercise those parts of our brain that pay close attention, we get better and better at doing it. Better and better at remembering that we can be loved exactly the way we are. So today's mindfulness exercise is kind of silly. It's just an exercise in paying attention to something you've done lots of. Have you ever clapped at the end of a song? Have you ever clapped at the end of a speech? Have you ever clapped at the end of a race? We're going to practice one clap. Having our hands in our laps to one clap and back. But we're going to practice it in super slow motion. Are you ready? The way this works is we're going to lift our hands up off of our lap, bring them up and bring them together, and then pull them apart and bring them back down to our lap. Now I did that in about 4 or 5 seconds. We're going to see if we can make that take an entire minute or even longer. The slower you do it, the more you can notice. Our task today is to pay close attention to the feelings in our body as we clap just one time in slow motion. Pay attention to the thoughts in your mind, the emotions that come up as you go through the process of lifting your hands off of your lap, bringing them together, and bringing them back down. You can do this along with me. I'm going to talk while I do it so I can describe to you what's going on in my body, in my mind. But if that's distracting, if you want to try this on your own, you can turn this off now and try it on your own. But if you'd like to do it along with me, all you need to do is find a comfortable place to sit. Checking in with your back, give it a stretch, checking in with any tension that's in your body, maybe flexing your muscles and relaxing them. Make sure that you're sitting in a royal position, a regal, dignified position. Not uncomfortable, but upright, like you deserve to be loved and respected, because you do. And now letting your eyes close if you're comfortable doing so, and bringing your attention to your hands that are resting gently on your lap. Notice what it feels like as you begin lifting them slowly off of your lap. Felt almost like my hands started to float. Noticing as you're bringing them up, I could feel my fingers touching each other and then separating as I spread my fingers out. Feels almost like my hands are on an escalator or an elevator, being lifted by something other than me. And as you lift them, notice what you're feeling. Mine are feeling heavy, heavier than normal, like they're being pulled down towards my lap. Bringing them up and noticing what it feels like as they raise, turning them face each other. Slowly bringing them towards each other. It feels almost like my hands are being drawn together like magnets. It feels kind of like they're moving through water or something thicker than air. Like I'm squeezing the air between my hands. As I bring them closer together, it's starting to feel like they should already be touching, but they're not. It's bringing up a feeling of excitement and anxiety, like I want them to meet. Ooh. I can almost feel them, even though they're not touching. Noticing that my head itches, but I'm not scratching it, bringing up some anxiety. And now wondering why my hands aren't touching yet. I feel nervous. Oh, I feel a finger and a thumb. And now they're touching. And now I'm bringing them back apart. I feel the warmth of my hand even though I'm not touching it anymore. I feel a sense of relief. And turning my hands back down towards my lap, I bring them down to touch my lap. Ooh, it feels like I have to work extra hard to keep them from going down faster. I notice my entire body was tense, and I'm relaxing it now as I bring my hands down. I feel a sense of relief as they get closer to my lap, and as they finally get close enough to touch, I feel the material on my pants, and opening my eyes, I check in with myself. That was kind of strange. It was very strange. And the strange thing is, I've done this motion numerous times, but I've never paid attention like that before. Think of all the things we do all the time that we don't pay attention to. Brushing our teeth, riding in a car, going on a walk, taking one step. Anything we do can be done mindfully and can become a mindfulness practice. Whether you liked this activity or not, whether you practice mindfulness again or you never practice it again, the one thing I hope you do is this. I hope that you remember you exactly the way that you are right now, exactly how you feel. You, my friend, are completely awesome. Bye for now.